I'm Ben Parker, the head coach and co-founder of Runna. 5 years ago, Runna was just an idea and a late night side project. And today, it's an app used by hundreds of thousands of runners looking to improve their training. Unfortunately, along the way, my own training took a bit of a backseat. But that ends today. My goal is to set a marathon PB in London next year. But before we get into that, let me give you a bit of context.
RUNNATV, take one.
Before Runna, I was just a very ordinary running coach PT in the park where I did a few things. I did one-on-one running sessions, probably running 7 to 10 times a week alongside my clients. I was taking countless classes, Pilates classes, spin classes and all sorts, programming people in the gym and then also online. I was living the dream, and accidentally, without needing much motivation, I was very fit. About the same point in time, I started to really find a love of running, and I thought maybe I could even take on this challenge that is the marathon. So I did, in my last year of uni, the Southampton Marathon. I completed this first marathon in 3 hours and 12 minutes. Extremely hard, but it really lit that fire in me, and whatever I get excited about, I want to do it to the very best of my ability. So I decided that the year after I'd do another marathon, and I did 2 hours and 50 minutes, much to my surprise. So a year later, I have another year of consistency under my belt, and I'm really excited to see what I could do, signed up for my very first London. But, as I'm sure you all know way too well, 2020 came around and all the races got cancelled. The only option was to run a virtual race. I ran on my watch 2 hours and 34 minutes and around 30 seconds. But that time haunts me to this day. I have no idea what time I'd have run if that was in an official race. I have no idea if I ran 2:36 or the equivalent, 2:38, or what I did. About the same point in time that I've just done this marathon, one of my very best friends and one of my online clients suggested automating what I was doing. And that was the birth of Runna. And for the next 6 months, I was basically sleeping less, working really hard. And since then, I've continued to not be able to prioritize my training nearly to the degree that I would like to, or to the degree that I did before Runna. So I start to think about my life in the pre-Runna and the post-Runna era. And last year, I was able to just creep under 250. And I ran a second under 2 hours 49 minutes in the Paris Marathon. And that's very much the benchmark for this London. Right, let's get going with my new plan. And I'm going to be running 4 days a week to start. And I can always build this up when I start to feel good. And I want to run just one speed session a week, and that's going to allow me to kind of balance it around the gym, the mobility and the cycling that I'm doing. So sliding that down slightly, which should also help reduce the risk of injury. All right, moment of truth. My plan is ready. Hey, I'm Ben Parker.
I'm Genevieve Gregson.
Hello, nice to meet you.
This.
Welcome to our makeshift little Runna studio where you're going to have a deep dive into my plan. I've gone for 4 runs a week, and you can see just like in the app, we've got 2 green workouts, which are my easy runs. I've got a speed session which are alternating from tempo through to intervals as yellow and orange, and then we've got my blue long run. Like so many of us, I was really excited at the start of my plan, and so I executed that first week very well until it came to the long run, and I just went a bit further because I was feeling super motivated. But I know that in practice I need to stick to the plan, I need to be consistent. So I thought, what should I do with this energy? And I basically used it to prioritize my mobility and my strength training, which became non-negotiable, 1 of each per week. We've made it to week 5 and we're into the new year, and truth be told, I'm feeling really good. I've stuck to the plan. I've done every single kilometre that Runna, that evil man Coach Ben, have told me to do. So with that in mind, I've gone from running 4 times a week through this last build block and into running 5 for the next. Otherwise, got to get to today's run. It's 11K, easy on the plan. Let's go. Coming in from my deload week, I was feeling good, and I had a few weeks of consistency in the legs. But in week 5, I decided to do something a little different, and I added a B race into my plan inside the app. And that was a 5K park run effort, which I did all out, and I came in around 18 minutes and 0 seconds. And by telling the app that it was a B race and I wasn't overly bothered about it, it wasn't a primary goal of mine, it meant that I don't have a meaningful kind of reduction in my training as I recover and as I built into that run as well. And this block went really well. I stuck exactly to my planned mileage and to my long runs, which built up to 23K. before then I come into my next B race, which was the Barcelona half marathon that I did tell the app meant a lot to me. I want to do my absolute best. So I've got this tapering down, got a reduction in my mileage and in my long run, and then the big race itself. It's Saturday and it's the day before the Barcelona half marathon, and here we're about to go and do a very easy shakeout in the middle of my 19-week training block. And that's because doing a half marathon or having a B race is a brilliant way to do a few things. One, check in on seeing how that training is going. It's also a great way to break our training into smaller chunks so it doesn't feel like such a long, continuous, daunting journey. And obviously using the time that we get in something like a half marathon can mean that we further refine our training on an ongoing basis and make sure it's absolutely spot on for how we are progressing in the real world. And then finally, it's a great way to get used to that environment, the nerves, the adrenaline, everyone running around you, so that way when it comes to racing that marathon, you're a little bit more ready for that race day experience.
We're here on the start line of the Barcelona half marathon. I'm full of those pre-race nerves and hoping I can do this in just under 80 minutes.
It's humbling running hard, but I'm out in Barcelona and I'm feeling really good. Looking back at the training to this point, I've got 8 or so weeks of probably the most consistent training I've done for years. Runner was predicting me between 117 and 121, which is a big range, and I really wanted to get a line in the sand, see where I was at, and use that to kind of validate the training looking ahead. And I went slap bang in the middle. I ran 1 hour, 19 minutes and 19 seconds. And I also knew that I had squeezed every last inch of performance out of myself, and I was happy.
That's hard work.
So I've had about 10 minutes to reflect on the run, catch my breath. As a coach, giving myself an A star. Pleased with that, but excited to hopefully pick up the pieces and keep building towards London from here. So after Barcelona, annoyingly, the perfect fairy tale of nailing all my training breaks. And fundamentally, real life happens. I got ill. I also went on holiday, and I was really busy and had a stressful period at work. And I had 3 weeks where I think in each of them I missed one run. And I think I did what we should all do, which is not panic. Know that the big picture, a little blip, feels like nothing at the end of it, but you've just got to get yourself back on track. So I basically gave myself a big shake after this little wobble, and then those 3 big weeks came around, and I did it. I did my consecutively 3 biggest weeks of running mileage, probably over the last 4 or 5 years, and I was feeling good. Nothing was hurting. I was ready, and I was excited to see what this past 19 weeks would lead to on the big day. So we're here in London and it's the day before the marathon. I am very excited, and the only thing left for me to do is do a little shakeout run, and then after that the work is done, and to be honest it's paid off really well. I'm feeling really good, I'm really excited, and then after that all I've got to do is push myself very, very hard and ultimately to smile my way around. It's race day. 19 weeks of hard training have led to this moment. It's looking warm, but all I've got to do is one foot in front of the other for 42 kilometers, and let's see what I'm made of. I actually get tingles thinking about it. It's just an amazing thing to do a marathon in your home city. And then it becomes even more emotive and important to me, whereby that's where we started Runna. And so to get to be on the start line of London with so many of our customers, it was crazy. And I had a very lovely Runna customer say hi to me at the start, ask me what I was aiming for, and we then set off together and stayed together for about the first 25 kilometers. I've cheered the race on for the number of the last few years, and so to then be on the other side of that this year was something that I was very, very excited for. And one of the reasons why we put the Runna cheer zone where it is on the course is the hardest point in the marathon is between 30 and 32 kilometers, which is when the famous wall kicks in. And I was struggling, and I heard the noise of that. And from my memory, I blinked and I was in it. And I had one of the team screaming at me in the face, but it's probably the closest thing that I can imagine a real out of body experience to be. And getting that boost is just enough to pull you through that last section. the feeling of not just completing a race or running past someone and feeling good and making them proud, but kind of feeling it all come together in that way is just electric. And I was running down the home stretch and I was proud that I'd ran my hardest the whole way through and across the finish line, and I'd done 2 hours and 48 minutes and 38 seconds. My fastest ever race. It was the fittest I've ever been since starting the business. And I think for me that's a huge milestone. I'm so proud. It was an amazing feeling to be running alongside people who are doing incredible marathon times, who are telling me that they've trained Runna. And it's this made up little evening homework project that's turned into what it is. I think that is, I guess, what it's all about, and why we've worked very hard at Runna for the last 5 years and why we're going to work very hard for the next 5 years. So I hope you have been inspired watching me try my hardest, both through my training block and through race day. If you want to see more videos like this, more training tips and all sorts, subscribe, like and follow to RUNNATV. I'm head coach and co-founder Ben Parker. We'll see you next time.